Hello my friends. Well, what a wet day. I got drenched going up the track to collect some Amazon deliveries. I'm drier now. And it's quite nice because I bumped into Jim the blacksmith and met his other half and his daughter. I think they've been show jumping or something rather, or eventing. Sort of thing one does in the countryside. It's not really worked, but never mind. The reason I've got my glasses, my friends, is because we're going to have another chapter of Hunter's Moon. Anyway, I better do me gong. Not that I'll need it. These are usually shorter ones, aren't they? And not very popular. Nobody likes me novel. Well, some people do, and they're very encouraging. But a lot of people sort of zone out, and I don't blame them. I love that. Anyway, so yeah, I got soaked. Smoking my Dr. Grabon freehand. Well, freehand-ish. Factory-made freehand. Drinking me IPA. And let's get this thing charged up. I was watching good old Richard today, Richard Vobes, smoking his pipe in front of his essay. And he was talking about a film that I'd recommended the other day. Do you remember when I said that I shall be watching A Handful of Dust? And it does have a rather odd ending. Richard was saying it was rather unsatisfactory. I'm sure he must have worked out the ending, but principally the arch protagonist, who was given that rather odd potion to drink at the festival, was knocked out for a few days. And when the search party had come to look for him, obviously the mad dude who he was reading Dickens to hid him off somewhere, showed the grave of the previous reader, which he had on the hill with a cross, gave the intrepid explorers the protagonist's watch, and said he snuffed it. And so the point of the film was that they went back, erected that huge memorial to him in the stately home, and that she didn't get a penny because she wasn't, obviously, she wasn't entitled to the proceeds of the house, or the house itself. That went to members of the family. And so he managed to stay alive, got shot of her, she got nothing, and neither did the gallant gentleman who, or not so gallant, who was basically using her for money anyway, and to step up socially. There were no winners as such. Well, that was the ending. So the gold digger got nothing. Well, both gold diggers got nothing. Mind you, neither did the protagonist. He's probably spend the rest of his day just reading Charles Dickens to that, was it Alec Guinness, in the jungle. So not a Hollywood ending, but an ending of sorts. But I agree. I remember thinking, and Lisa said as well, that it was rather disappointing. It came to an end rather quickly. Anyway, yeah, what am I smoking? I think I'm just smoking, what do they call it? Dunhill Mixture 965. Just a middle-of-the-road English blend today. Needs smoking. Getting a bit dry. So anyway, after yesterday's industry, today has been totally quiet. I got up, hadn't begun to rain at this point, came into this room, said Holy Mass, followed by the Angelus. I didn't have to water my plants because I knew it was going to water late. It was going to come down, the heavens opened. Played a bit of chess, online chess. I like to play online chess to keep the old grey matter working. and spent the rest of the day principally editing my novel. There are some quite fragrant scenes in it which I won't be able to read on the YouTube. You'll have to buy the book for those. I'll be able to get a way around it by reading most of the chapter, and I'll just leave out the saucy bit. No, you're not going to get me reading those, friends. I'm sorry. All you ladies will be of a quiver. But I have to say, I do rather have a knack for it. Has anything else happened? I hand-fed the squirrel again. My little baby squirrels, I hand-feed them now. They eat Jacob's cream crackers. Well, not a whole one. And they basically knock on the door and ask for them now. But I have to be careful because they could become a pest. Well, they are a bloody pest. Bouncing all over the caravan. But the little ones are lovely. The big ones don't come up to be hand-fed, but I've trained the little ones, the babies, to come up. So obviously when they're adults, they will. And hopefully I'll feed their babies too. I might regret all of this at some point. Thanks for all the advice. I got advice about the car. Some people say it could be the alternator, some say a bad earth. No doubt the RAC fellow will be able to do some tests. He's supposed to be coming tomorrow, friends. Unbelievable, isn't it? At least he's coming. I have no idea what time. They never tell you. They don't tell you till the day itself. Because we don't have a life, you see. We don't have a life, us general public, you know. We just wait on phone calls, or our phone calls are put on hold endlessly. We don't have a life, you see. We're there to service industry, commerce. Anyway, that's a subject for another day, really, isn't it? So yeah, he's coming tomorrow, my friends. I was going to say, well, it'd be lovely to have a nice cougar up and running again. But we don't know. He might not fix it. We could be back to square one another couple of weeks. We'll see. Let's remain positive, shall we? And tomorrow also, a builder fellow's coming. With Tom, who did some of the landscaping. And it's basically to discuss underpinning the house. You all know that there are huge, great big tree stumps abutting the wall. The man's an idiot who planted those. What a fool. And the ruddy trees at the back. What an idiot. Leandi. God. Anyway. Well, there's a lovely cherry tree at the front as well, but it's far too big, and that's left a root ball. Shame it had to come down, really. No, it wasn't a cherry tree, it was an acer. Lovely thing. Down it came. What I'm hoping is when we get these quarry tiles up and see what's underneath, I'm hoping it's just earth. Should be able to dig down from the inside of the house and see if any rootage is coming underneath and in. I'm suspecting we might be able to underpin from the inside. And when that's sorted out, dig out the root balls and then attack the other side filled with concrete. But I'm no expert. I'm sure they'll have opinions on it tomorrow. But to get the whole place underpinned, we don't probably have to underpin anywhere apart from this front elevation. That's a huge step forward. And all these steps forwards don't actually seem to show you very much. You know, you still haven't really done the house, but you have. I mean, so much of this project has evolved around sort of landscaping, forestry work, and land works, groundworks. All of those have to be in place. Before you start dragging scaffolding down here and start doing the mullioned windows and the porch and You know, getting a cathedral flags down and repointing all the stone and rebuilding the two gable ends, putting a new lid on, sorting the guttering out. So much to do. But I'm in no rush. The house has been here hundreds of years. It's not going anywhere. Anyway, that was that. So those are two things that are going to happen tomorrow. Oh, I've got to give some thanks. Craig, who said, for the kook or something, bought me an absolute shed load of coffees. Thanks for that, Craig. That was most kind. Unbelievable generosity. And it will go towards the cougar too. I've got to be mobile, Craig. Got to be mobile. I don't want to be stranded up on this hill on my own. And Mrs. C as well. She bought me a coffee too. So thank you for that. I think it was Mrs. C. Mrs. C something. So I'm very grateful for my coffees. And anyway, I think I'll just soldier on with the chapter. You'll remember that we left John Reith. He'd met Lorna Stroud properly for the first time outside his cottage, Hunter's Moon, in the last episode. And by the by, if people have missed chapters, some people have said, well, I wish I'd have read... Well, I've made a playlist, so you can go back and start again or find chapters you haven't read yet. But today we're on chapter 9. And we left John, didn't we, just going back into Hunter's Moon with his logs and his Labrador Major. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. It is a Sunday night. Perfect evening read from my book. The Range Rover could be heard as it crunched across the gravel. "They are here," announced Patrick Jessup, without bothering to look up from his copy of the Antiques Gazette. "And another new car, most probably." "Where? Let me see," said his father, putting down his newspaper and moving towards the window and peering out. A brand new Range Rover in midnight blue was parking up. "Ill-gotten gains, no doubt," tutted Morgan, as he returned to his chair and resumed the obituary column. "Christmas bonus, more like, father," said Patrick sarcastically. Patrick and Simon were dissimilar siblings. Simon, in his weaker moments, deemed his brother chinless and disingenuous. And likewise, Patrick believed his brother arrogant and competitive, and thus enjoyed the distance that London provided. It meant that they saw little of each other. There was one thing, however, in which they agreed, and that was their love for their little sister, Herriot. This button-nosed force of nature was a compact whirlwind of energy. She had brunette hair with blonde highlights, which emphasised her pale blue eyes. Her round face was permanently animated, and she stood no more than 5 feet tall. Although not classically beautiful, she had personality in spades, and despite being only 22, she had survived anything that London could throw at her. Simon was a younger version of his father. They looked like a pair of fox terriers, with their wiry red hair, pronounced noses and ruddy cheeks. At 44, one could say he was successful. His position within Fairbairn and Fortescue was secure, and it was well rewarded. At the London Stock Exchange, his management of futures was second to none, and afforded him an enviable lifestyle. He was not married, but rarely far from the arms of a woman. He ate out often and made love regularly. As Simon and Hattie passed through the old oak doors, the familiar scent of home welcomed them. "God, it's good to get out of London," said Simon, as he wiped his feet on the mat. "Rather," agreed Hattie. Come in, effused Morgan, as he made his way to the door. He hugged them both warmly. Patrick didn't get up from the sofa and settled for a more restrained tug of the hand from his brother. "Come, let's get those coats off you and sit you down." Morgan corralled them towards the fireside, where they sat down in the wing chairs. "Your mother's somewhere in the house, Patrick. Be a good lad and go and find her. I think she's sorting out the decorations." Morgan pressed a whisky into Simon's hands and asked him about his new car. Patrick put down his newspaper and got up from the sofa. Feigning a weak smile, he said, "Will do, father," and under his breath, "Christ, the prodigal son hath returned." Whilst Patrick searched for his mother, Morgan began to catch up with all the news. Sipping his whisky, Simon related his latest mergers and acquisitions, whilst Hattie, who had decided to kneel on the floor, played with Mork and Mindy, the family terriers. Moments later, having freed herself from a tangle of decorations, Daphne entered the drawing room, followed by Patrick. "Darlings," she said with obvious delight, "let's have a look at you." Despite the advancing years of her children, they were still her babies, and she always made a fuss. After hugging her children, she sat down on the sofa. The sight of the family gathered together around the hearth warmed her heart. "Drink, Mummy," said Hattie, who was already helping herself to a small cherry brandy. Oh, just a small sherry for me, please, darling," said Daphne. Hattie brought the glass of sherry over. "Well, cheers, my dears," she said, as she raised the glass. "Here's to us." "To us," came the confident reply. Well, mostly confident. Patrick was never confident when Simon was at home. "What you got there, mate?" said Reith to Major as he threw another log on the fire. "Bring it here." The puppy was having none of it, as he hovered over the partially gnawed envelope and began to guard it. "You're supposed to be a retriever, for heaven's sake," said John, smiling, forced to get up from his chair. He wrestled the torn envelope from the dog. "You could at least confine your assaults to the utility bills, Major." Fortunately, it was on good quality card, and Reith was able to put together what remained of the contents. Announced in embossed copper plate, but now ragged, it said, "Mr. and Mrs. Jessup at home for Christmas drinks, Thornbury Towers, 6:30 p.m, December the 18th, dress smart, RVSP. Well, 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 what have we got here?" He looked at the card like a detective, falling upon a missing clue. "We've been summoned, Major," he declared. His mind raced. An elusive horsewoman, and now an invitation to a drinks party at an impressive address. John sat before his fire, invitation in one hand and a glass of claret in the other, and began to ruminate. Since the demise of his military career, John had inhabited a social desert. Despite an arsenal of appropriate attire within his wardrobe, Reith neither missed nor sought the endless round of summer and winter balls. His mind wandered back to a ladies' night at his cavalry mess, and such was the assembled chatter of the room that he was minded of seagulls. Although never quite comfortable at such gatherings, John understood the need for social congress. No man is an island. He also missed, if he were being honest, female company. During his commissioned service, he had taken for granted the dazzling array of young ladies and the beguiling wives that frequented the mess. John reached down to the bottle on the hearth, and as he refilled his glass, he thought to himself, "The local Benedictines see more action than me." He gulped down more of the claret as he sat thinking, "I wonder if she will be there. Miss High and bloody mighty. Mind you, she's a good looker for all that, and has a fine seat." He looked around at his surroundings. They had evolved into a comfortable home in no time, adequately furnished with English oak, French walnut, and Honduras mahogany. In the kitchen, John had managed to get the range up and running, and so far the concealed embers which burned day and night provided a soothing wall of heat. At night, Major had stationed his quarters before it, but preferred the sitting-room hearth when John was up. Despite his home being well appointed, it was not large. "No room here, Major, for a drinks party," he reflected. John had got used to the roomy detached married quarters of the army, and although not a snob, found the cottage at times irritatingly cosy. However, it was all his and paid for. In order to prevent Imogen from entirely emptying the contents of his meagre pension, he opted for a clear-cut break by offering her a lump sum through the courts. This she accepted. Now, with no children, nor the financial burden that she had placed upon him, he was free to rebuild his life. He then commuted the remainder of his pension into a gratuity which enabled him to buy Hunter's Moon. They were only married 5 years, and following their divorce, Imogen returned to work as a legal secretary in Guildford, and had already taken up with the boss. Despite John's inevitable low moments, he was blessed with a positive outlook, and more importantly, a keen sense of humour. If those failed, he could always reach for a decent bottle of Bordeaux. John placed the invitation on the stone mantelpiece and decided to get his supper on. He was pleased by the invitation, and oddly looking forward to it. "Cinders shall go to the ball," he said triumphantly, startling the dog. And here endeth chapter 9. Well, well, well. Things might be hotting up. I hope you enjoyed that, and it's well within the gong time, which means I can prod me pipe and have a puff on it. It'd be lovely to get this thing. Well, the book's finished. I need to get the blessed thing totally. I did a bit of editing today. It's quite a good practice, this reading to you. You see all sorts of things you normally miss. And thanks for your support. Not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of the day. A fly swatter came today from Amazon. By gum, I needed it. Every time you open that blessed door, flies come in the caravan, small space. So I spent a good deal of the afternoon swatting, which was extraordinarily satisfying. Seeing this battalion of flies being eliminated one by one. Not very Buddhist, but then I'm not a Buddhist. Pesky things. I wonder how a Buddhist copes with a caravan full of flies. Shoo, 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 shoo. Oh no, another fiver come in. Shoo, shoo. Ah. Pesky things. And that's about it, really. What else came? Oh, just some... Oh, because I watched Richard's video, I replenished my vitamin C and my magnesium and zinc. Was it just magnesium? No, I think zinc's in it. I sometimes take one of those just before bed. And it can help you relax and sleep, and I think it does. The only problem is, if it's too high a dosage, you might find yourself going for number 2s at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is not much fun when you're out here in the sticks with no inside loo. It's probably not much fun any time at 3 o'clock in the morning, even with an inside loo. Not eaten anything today, really. I had some porridge earlier. with my own honey from my own bees. But I don't have those bees anymore. I sold them before coming down. I didn't relish the idea of 60,000 bees in the back of a cougar. And something going wrong, you know, have a slam on the bloody brakes. So I need to get another beehive. Well, I've got a beehive, an empty one. I've got all the kit. I need to get another queen, get some bees, what they call a nook, a nucleus. But I'm not going to do that till I'm all settled. And you see, once this place, you know, we start on all the underpinning and everything, everything in here is going to have to go out. I'm going to have to get a builder, some sort of great big shed. Because this place will have to be gutted when they start in here. Well, there's very much in here anyway. Tiny amount of stuff. Can probably go upstairs, if anywhere. That's a good idea, actually. Why didn't I think of that before? Oh, I know why I didn't think about it before. Because, oh, thank you. It's because the staircase is absolutely diminutive. It's minute and curly. Hopeless. I don't really want to manhandle this stuff up there. No, a shed is called for, of some sort. That'll have to take precedence over a chicken coop. As much as I'm desperate to get livestock on here, I've really got to sort of prioritise things. They're going to be a luxury after everything's done. The chickens can come earlier, but I've got to be so careful. Anyway, friends, I think I'll leave it there. Nice to see you all. And I hope you're having a great Sunday evening, wherever you are. I remembered you in my prayers at Holy Mass, and will continue to do so. I'll probably go and search for some sort of film to watch tonight. I'll probably have fish tonight. That needs eating up. And that's about it. So this is Father John signing out. God love you, God keep you, God go with you. My wee parish of miscreants, mavericks, and the misshapen. And I'll see you on the next video. God bless.